Hi, it's we from WeCon Wargaming here with another tournament report. This time from the Las Vegas Open 2018. So this summary is actually going to be about the LVO Age of Sigmar doubles tournament, which happened just on this past Friday with 1,000 points each. Joe and myself, we play doubles, so 1,000 points of Skaven Pestilence and 1,000 points of Stormcast Eternals. Now, just a couple things before I get into it. Joe is a very new player, so before coming into LVO, he had only played 4 total games of Age of Sigmar, and he committed to really getting his stuff painted very well, but not necessarily practicing very much. So our approach was very much a let's just play, have Joe learn the mechanics. I mean, he's much more of a 40k player, and get familiar with Age of Sigmar mechanics and the differences there and his units and those types of things. So while our game record wasn't great, our outcome was great, because actually Joe was able to, he admits that it was an incredibly good learning experience. So yeah, so Age of Sigmar doubles is actually strange because it's actually the day before the championships, and that's actually opposite of the way the 40k is run. 40k is run, the championship starts on the Friday, as day two on Saturday, and then of course they have their top 8 on Sunday, whereas the doubles happens on Friday and the championship happens Saturday, Sunday, and there is no top 8. It just concludes. And now it's a significantly smaller tournament than 40k, but that's just the way it's structured, and I don't think that there's any risk that it's going to go to that 40k structure anytime soon. The other thing that's a little bit different to note is the missions are completely different. So, I mean, I'll go over them just briefly off my memory, but they are nowhere close to what General's Handbook regular missions would be like. So, how much you can kind of take away from that is, so like, I mean, admittedly, Joe and myself, we took basically just what we were bringing anyways, and we were just going to play it out. And we weren't going to bother trying to optimize for these weird missions, right? But anyways, so suffice it to say, with all those caveats, our record was 0-3. And, not necessarily all because of Joe, or not necessarily because of myself, but yeah, it wasn't the greatest in terms of like records. That's fine. That's fine. Our overall goal was met, and it's great. So I'll just go over it game by game. So the first game we played was against some great guys. They're from Calgary, actually, from the Ultimate Gamers, Jeff and Dean. So they had taken Disciples of Tzeentch as well as a Skaven Pestilence army. Their Skaven player, which was Dean, he actually took 2 lists. He took 2 armies to the LVO. I don't know how he found room in his luggage, but I guess he did. He was playing Pestilence for the doubles only, and then he was playing Skyer for the singles. A totally different army. I was like, okay, well, it seems a little ridiculous, but maybe it's because Skyer is technically better than Pestilence. Anyways, so in the Tzeentch army, it was, I believe, 30 Brimstones, a Con Summoner, a Shaman on disc, 5-6 Skyfires, and a couple units of Marauders. Very nicely painted, very well converted models. And that was Jeff's army. He was playing Tzeentch, and Dean's army was 3 units of 40 Plague Monks, a Furnace, and I think a Priest or so. That's pretty much it. Now the thing about also that was crazy is that Dean had built in his list a Warp Grinder team. These Warp Grinder teams are important because they allow you to take a Skaven unit and then come up anywhere on the table, basically outside of 9 inches, and it helps with Skaven Pestilence because we're just humping it up the table, right? So, but the mission was also very different in this case. Joe and I, we had to deploy in the middle, and those guys actually had to split the forces, one side to the right and one side to the left, and as attacker and defender, and it didn't matter who finished dropping first because it was ultimately a roll off. So we took the middle, and Jeff playing Zinch obviously took the side that I was on because if he gets a chance, he's gonna try to roast all my monks, and that meant that a big horde of Skaven Pestilens would also be on Joe's side. So I think our overall strategy was sound in some cases, but also not that great. I mean, so I'll give you a little overview of what we were thinking. We were thinking, okay, let's just make those Skaven Pestilens walk the whole way. And Joe just like, okay, lightning chariot these guys out and then just advance and just run the heck out of there away. But we had overly reserved so much of Joe's army for really no reason. Like, we were afraid of like Zinch just trying to shoot him to death. But when you got 40 plague monks that are like 12 inches away from you, you're gonna dedicate resources into it. So, in fact, it kind of screwed us because I don't think that most of Joe's units came in until like bottom of 3. Anyways, so what happened is they won the roll off, just blew up like half of my army. I mean, my army. So, okay, I'll have to go off my memory here as well. My army was 2 units of plague monks, the furnace, 2 priests, and the battalion, the congregation of filth. Right, that gives me the 6 up feel no pain. And Joe's was 2 units of judicators, 3 units of prosecutors, and I want to say a relictor and not heralder, the guy with the lantern. I don't know what the guy's name is. Anyways, so yeah, so it did work fabulously. Basically taking Dean's army out for the most part, except for his furnace, which made a crazy long bomb charge. I wasn't there for that, unfortunately. I think he made like a 10-inch charge or 11-inch charge on Joe's characters, and then the plague sensor off of the furnace hit like 3 of his characters and did D6 mortar wounds and just like blew up all of his characters. It was crazy, and I was just like trying to barely hold down Skyfires, and of course, he's folding reality on us. It's like, oh, awful. Joe, what's taking you so long? Anyways, so suffice it to say, in that game 1, it was fast for some aspects, and then it was also like incredibly slow because like Joe's not coming down. I'm just getting slaughtered. Dean is like basically just advancing as fast as possible. And the other thing is too, Dean actually was very unlucky. He was next to mystical terrain, and he kept on rolling 1s, which means that they go old school stupid, right? They can't move, they can't advance, they can't do anything, right? So I think 3 of his units in 1 turn, like next to that same damned terrain, couldn't move. So he was also a little bit snake bitten as well. Yeah. Anyway, so game 1, they were super fun, super nice guys, and the mission was just crazy for us. I mean, but anyways, I mean, they had the right tools. They played well. They're good guys. They know what they're doing. They very obviously know their stuff, and we're happy to play them. We'd be happy to play them anytime. So that's it for game 1. Game 2 was against Tyler from We Slay Dragons. I don't recall his last name, and I really should have looked this up. The winner, actually, he was playing Stormcast Eternals, and he actually won the LVO championships. I want to say his name is Scott, but I also feel like that's wrong. So I'm gonna say Scott, and then whoever the winner was that played Stormcast Eternals. He's from Rolling Bad. They would pair it up. They're not actually friends. What had happened is both of their partners couldn't make it, and then the TO essentially paired them up together. So what they had was Stormcast Eternals, which is what Scott was taking for the singles, and Tyler, who was taking Cardron Overlords. So what I can recall from Tyler's list was he had about like 12 Engine Ringers, Aether Chemist, a unit of 20 Thunderers, is that what we called them? And another unit of them. And then Scott's army was like 5 Liberators, Protector, Wing Dude. I'm gonna just call them Wing Dudes. Judicators. Lord Celestant, and one other guy that he's a single character that like has that motion. I can't remember what his name is. He never came in, so that was a big problem for him. So in this game, this was a crazy game. So what the board was divided up into sections, and you have to roll for each player turn to see where there would be hot lava coming out, and you get to pick a point within that sector, and for every successive turn, the radius would get bigger and bigger, except for like one character from each player's army, which would have a ruby ring, which would make them like immune. It was like a 4-up save. You know, everything would take more wounds, and it was brutal. Anyway, so actually we were doing very well because my monks were just getting on those points, and they had a hard time taking them off. But you know, basically I messed up. I just took out the ones that were on the objective for no really good reason, and it cost us the game. Stupid. and in my mind, I was like, no, it's okay. Joe will come back. He'll be able to shoot those guys off and basically advance on with those wing guys, and then they'll be good. But like, turned out like, number one, they don't move as fast as they look like they should move, and number two, in close combat, they're junk. Those wing guys from Stormcast Journals. Anyways, these are all important lessons for both myself and Joe. Close combat, those guys, awful. And so game 3, we played. I don't recall these guys' names. They didn't play the singles, which is strange. They had, I think they were more local guys, but they had come up to play the doubles, and what it was a pure order list and a pure death list. And essentially what it was is just there's a Baleful Realm Gate in the middle, and 4 objectives kind of like along the, you know, evenly spaced, and characters could sit on those and claim them, as well as the Baleful Realm Gate in the middle, and you'd get more points. Those points would then start activating the Baleful Realm Gate, and then that would like allow you to start teleporting once you get to a cumulative amount of points. Anyways, their army was crazy because they had a Frost Phoenix, I want to say White King on Zombie Dragon, and a Mongol. They were all just boom right in the middle, and it was just impossible for me to do anything to them. And Joe, what's he gonna do? Like, he was just plunking off like little shit wounds here and there, like doesn't matter, you know. And I was like, okay, at least just flank and like take out like those 10 zombies and like some Saurus Warriors and things like that. And it just took like a ridiculous amount, well, I thought it was like of over resources to like take care of that. And so as I said, they had ran away with the objective, and I was like, okay, well, anyways, I mean, it was fine. I mean, like, it's important to know that, like, okay, what does it really take to kill, like, from shooting, let's say. You know, everyone in Age of Sigmar, oh, shooting is so crazy OP, but it's like, you know, it's not necessarily the most reliable. It's not like 40k where, like, you can get rerolls and there's a million shots and the range is like a jillion, right? Like, it's not the same, right? Like, not everybody has a gun, you know? And so anyways, so he learned real quick that, like, he needs to really focus in on stuff. And yeah, I mean, I just basically crashed into the waves. So I have like 40 of them, like 80 monks going into the between the Morgul, the Zombie Dragon, and then the Frost Phoenix fighting just the entire time right in the middle. And I believe the Order player also had these, I want to call them Decimators. They're those Stormcast guys that have like these really big like honking axes. I mean, they look really cool, but I never see them in real life. And so those guys swing real hard, but like, I don't think they're really that good. It's just that in this specific context where they have those such tanky units in the middle, and my army doesn't, I don't know, it can't put out enough to deal with all that, to deal with that specific army build. Anyways, that's it. That's my recap of the doubles, and look forward to my summary of championship coming up. Thanks. Bye.